Well, the idea of these conversations pretty much are just to have like some live chats, like other people call office hours, just to try to answer questions, to try to see what developers are interested in. So in this case, it would be you. And if no one else joins, then we're going to be able to to well just answer all your questions. I'm assuming. But that's me, just in case you were wondering. So, well, if you want, since you're the only one, I'm going to just do a small presentation, and then I'll ask you a little bit about you, about what you're doing. If you're interested in just creating games or creating apps in general, or what kind of things do you want to talk about? And I have a couple of demos that, if you want, I can show you, but it's going to depend a lot on what you want to talk about. So. Uh, I've been doing this thing about 7 years on developer relations. So that means that I get to talk a lot with developers, which is what I'm doing right now. And I do have a background in video game design and programming. So that's something that I was able to do for a couple of years professionally. And the rest of the time, I've been doing things more on my own because, well, I love video games. I kind of learn how to program because I love video games. And I figured out that that was the best way to create your own games. Um, Apart from that, Tony told me that you had already been working on some themes and that you're really passionate about games. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
So I made some games in some of my classes. I have this specific one called Light Travel, where you control this light particle inside of a void, and right now you control it using like it's kind of like an analog stick, but it's on the computer screen. But I want
Okay.
to make the game mobile, and then I thought it'd be cool if you could use the watch to move the particle. And Tony
Okay.
was telling me about using like the gyro effect to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so then let me tell you a little bit about Tyson and some of the things that you can do. So, we can talk about that. So, mm, if you want to create a game that mixes the mobile part plus the wearable part, so a phone and a smartwatch, then you usually have to create two different applications. So one for the watch, one for the phone, and then then you have to kind of like connect them. If you're going to do that with the Samsung smartwatches, the best thing that you can do is this. See, where do I have it? And purchase. Open a lot of things. Preparing for this. Of course, now I don't find the one that I want. Your first step. Is this one? Yes. So the companion. So what you have is a companion app. So for the smartwatches, for the Samsung Galaxy watches, what you do is create your Android app, and pretty much you connect it with an app that is residing on your watch. So at some point, I'm going to send you all these links. We can do it even after, well, tomorrow or something like that. Since Tony already has your contact, I can send you all these links. So all the tabs that I have open here. And this is where to find the information to start creating your app. So I think the first question that I should have asked is like, how are you creating your game right now?
I'm creating it on Unity
Okay.
because I know C Sharp and Visual Studio and all that.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So then that gives us a little bit of something to talk about here. So let me jump to that part. So when you're creating, so C Sharp, Unity, all that is going to take care of the Android application on the game that you can put on the Galaxy Store and that is going to run on your phone. And then is how do you create the game that is going to, or the application that is going to run on your watch? To do that, you have like three main options. One is a web application, or a native application, or a .NET application. And this is quite likely where you're going to use your experience there because you already know C Sharp, and this one uses Visual Studio, that are like the we have two options to create games or applications. That is Tizen Studio or Visual Studio. So I should have asked this to Tony. So I had everything prepared with Visual Studio. I had several demos that are working here on Tizen Studio. So those are the ones that I'm going to show you, but they are relatively similar. What you would have to do is to download Visual Studio. Then you download a package that is for Xamarin, and then you're going to be able to create applications there with Tizen. And then you could go to this page here that in this case I had it for Web Companion. So we would need it more for a .NET Companion. Come on. And then it's going to give you all the instructions on how to do that on Visual Studio that you can see already here, how to do it. So like how to create a project and all that. And after that, you are going to be able to use the emulator and use you follow the instructions that you have here. You see the protocols and then connect them. The advantage of using the everything on the watch is that you are going to have access to all the sensors that you have on the watch. So you are going to be able to detect the number of steps, the heartbeat, the ultraviolet radiation that you're getting, so sunscreen or light. You're going to be able to keep track of other vital signs if you want to. Or the other things that I think it's what you're directly interested in, that is the gyroscope that you have on your watch. Which, by the way, I should put it on so I can show you when I'm talking about it. So then we do have in the sensors section that then I guess put together like a full list of links for you to look at, and then it tells you how to do it, how to detect the motion of the watch, or in this case your wrist, and then how to communicate that to your phone. So with that, I think one, it can be done. Two, the best way to do it is create your application already in Unity and then connect it. The cool thing is that afterwards, especially because you're already using Unity, if you want to make it something that you can charge for, you can check things like this one, that is the Samsung in-app purchase, and then you already have for Unity. So that's something that you just download, install in Unity, and then you could charge if you want for things in your game. And if it's not for this one, then you can create something like that later. But well, one step at a time, right? So I don't know if that kind of helps a little bit, or if you have some questions about that.
That helps a lot.
Okay.
You said you're gonna send what I need to me after
Yes.
this? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I definitely like to read into that and stuff.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Uh, I'm also, yeah, I'm going to ask Tony, that I think I see him connected right now on the conversation. So then I can send you that. So the first one that quite likely I'm going to send you is this one, that is where we work, the developer.samsung.com. That's kind of like general information. Then I can send you one that is for the Galaxy Store. This is where you're going to publish your game. Then specifically for you, I will send you. I don't have that one open, but I'll look for it. That is watch, and that one, since you already told me, then you could create an application. You start with the standalone for .NET. So this is with Xamarin to be able to create a cross-platform. And then the last one, quite likely, is going to be this one that is companion. So that is specific type of application is a companion app, and then you would be able to create it. So yeah. And then, well, since I was already talking a little bit about that, you have on the watch several types of applications that you can create. So watch faces, that is what you see when you turn on the watch. The watch app, that would be your game. In this particular case, a game is just a specific type of application, or widgets that are almost like these little shortcuts that take you to or displayed information or directly to another app. So in this case, you would be focusing on this one, and the combination that you would do would be .NET and using Visual Studio. So that all that combination, you can do it. The other thing is that since you already have Tony's contact and quite likely you're going to have mine at the end, that, well, I'm going to send you directly that email. The thing is that obviously I can help you to go through the process of publishing. So this is my contact here, contact information, and to promote it. So once you are done with that, quite likely one of the things that you would like to do, I'm assuming, is to start doing something with that and publishing it in the store so other people can download it and test it. Yeah. So any other questions up to that point?
I don't have a lot of experience with the Samsung store, so I didn't even know that you guys had games. Is that like, do a lot of people get games from your store?
That's the most popular application type that we have, really.
Okay.
So, like well, then I'll send you also that link too. So you have here the Galaxy Store. It tells you a little bit more about what you have there. That is kind of like a curated group of applications that you would have on your Samsung phone. So you have the general Android market that has millions of applications, millions of people downloading those applications. So that makes it a little bit harder to stand out. But then you have the Galaxy Store, and then in this link particularly, it tells you a little bit more about, like, yeah, what is the Galaxy Store, the things that you need to do, how to distribute it, etc., etc., and some of the highlights, obviously, like how many people are. This is monthly users and downloads that you're having. So obviously, you can reach a lot of people using the store, and there you have kind of like four, I think it's four, I always forget the number, 4 or 5 types of things that you can publish. So one is a regular mobile application. The other one is, the second one would be a wearable application. The third one would be watch faces. So then that's specifically then the face for your watch that you can sell them or put them there for free, and then themes for your phones. So then in this particular case, you would have to submit 2 different things. One is the mobile application that you have, well, on the phone, and then you would have the wearable application. So yeah, like a lot of people, that's something that happens a lot, even though with um, Samsung fans, that they do not explore enough, I guess, sometimes their own phones, and they don't see everything that we have in the store. But it's quite it has a lot of things there. It has a lot of applications, and the cool thing is that then you have that integration, is the integration between your wearable device and your mobile device. So then what I would send you then is and well, I don't know if Rashid, that I see that you're connected. I also can send you that like a set of links. If quite likely tomorrow. For me, it's a little bit late. It's 8 p.m. So quite likely I'm not going to be sending anything today. But tomorrow I can send you all the links and a little bit of an explanation of what you have in each one of them, and then you can have also my contact and send me anything if you want.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm going to ask again, Rashid, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about why in gaming, or if you're just interested in development in general. So if you have any questions, this would be the moment. If not, I have a couple of demos of games that I was preparing. I was not thinking specifically about .NET ones, so they are not going to be completely relevant to you, Kylie, but they are going to show you a little bit of the things that you can do, and yeah, well, see if you guys like them. So if you don't introduce yourself, or that's fine. I'm going to show you again a little bit. So let me jump again here. So what I was telling you here. So what I was telling Kylie a little bit before is that we have 2 options to create applications for the wearable devices. in terms of the ID on the environments that you can create. So one is with Tyson Studio. So you create web applications here or native applications. So that would be native, the C, C++, web are HTML5, JavaScript. And Visual Studio, it's the one that quite likely you're going to check, Kylie, that is with C Sharp and Xamarin. So it's a .NET, what you're doing there. I was assuming that a lot of people were going to ask me about this, so those are the demos that I prepared. So I guess next time I'm going to be ready and I should have something here. Some integration with Unity, I think it would be great. But at least you're going to see Tyson Studio and the emulator that I think it's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead. So Tyson Studio is going to look something like this. This is already a project that I created. And well, I have different projects here open. So in this case, I have like 5, and I want to show you really quick. And when you have Tyson Studio or with Visual Studio, you're always going to have some additional tools that come with the packages. So the emulator, the analyzer, the package manager, certificate, and device. So today we're going to check really quick the emulator. We're going to ask something? So in the emulator, pretty much what it shows you is, in this particular case, an emulation of a watch. So you could have like most of the functionality that you would have with the watch. In this case, I don't know why I don't have many applications installed, so we're going to look at that. And then you would have a similar process from Tyson Studio or Visual Studio that sends the application to the emulator and then is run here. So what I'm going to show you is some options that you have if you're not going to continue with Unity. But at the end of the day, they are going to be displayed here. So the first one that usually is for like complete beginners is using something like a Constructor. So all the applications all the demos that I'm going to show today, they are web applications. So they have JavaScript and HTML. And since HTML is so popular, there are many ways that you can create games or that you can create web apps. This one is quite a drag and drop. And literally, you would do something similar to what you would have in Unity. The thing is that in Unity, you end up coding more. Here, everything has, in this particular case, our little alien has behaviors. So you have something like here, like a platform and scroll to and all that. So I created all that, and this is the logic. So you can see here that there's not much. You're going to create something, you add events, and you don't really need to type much. There's not a lot of things there. You have to figure it out. And then you export this as a website. So directly like if it was an HTML page. And then to be able to put it inside of the Tyson emulation, pretty much I just kind of like copy pasted a few of the things there. So the index HTML and a few of the libraries that you have over here that are this one, the runtime, this one that is data, and jQuery that is used by this platform. And then you're going to be able to do something like this: run as web application. And if everything looks okay, it's going to launch it. Right now it's taking its time. And then you have something like this. So this one, the idea was to just make something really simple, a little alien. This would be kind of like almost a mix of watch face and game, but it's used the circular shape. And well, you can see that I'm not really killing the alien. It should be detecting really that collision, and I'm not. But it was just to showcase that I can show the time, which I'm almost certain that is hard coded right now. So, and just interaction. And apart from that is able to detect all that. And all those things, you're able to change them right here, like on the original one. So you can do that. So this is kind of like demo 1, option number 1. So that's kind of like demo number 1. So far, any questions up to that? Do you guys like it? You guys hate it? It's okay? No? Okay. So I'll continue. Then the other thing that you can do is also to integrate with other libraries that helps you with animations or things like that. So I'm going to show three different demos really quick. The first one is with that I call it like Anime Glow, and this is with a library or framework called anime.js. So you can go directly to anime.js.com, and it already has a lot of really cool samples that you guys can see here. So, and all this is done with JavaScript, and that's why it's running on their website. So the one that I took was this one. I kind of like the shape because it fits directly the screen for the smartwatch. Then I went to where is it? Examples. I think this code pen collection. So you have a lot of things here, and I look for the one that I wanted. So let me see if we can easily check it. Here, right here. So it already kind of like takes you to CodePen, and it shows you pretty much everything that you have there. So then I took that code, created a project on Tizen Studio, and modified the index HTML, added a few animations and a few things along with the CSS to make it fit correctly. And then let's see. I think it does it a little bit faster. I think I have too many things open at once. Okay, yeah, even here the animation is. I changed a little bit the width of each one of these lines to make it a little bit more visible. But then this is something that once you have the code, well, for once that you can take it directly from the page, and second, it has kind of like a really cool effect directly on your device. So this is something that would be almost ready to publish, I guess. If you want to make it a watch face, you would put it here, but well, something like that. Then the other two demos that I'm going to show here are these ones. Well, I think I'm going to go directly for this one. So Phaser. So Phaser is a library too. And this one is specifically for games, and you can go to phaser.io. And this one here, what you would do is, well, it's also JavaScript, so you can find many of the examples directly here, and they have several versions. You can download it, and you can start creating that. So the only thing that I had to do is to create, again, a project, make certain that I put the right library, that I think it was this one, Phaser. And this particular example, I added another library that is this one, easystart.js. This is to find. So I'm going to show you right away what we have. This is also something that is not exactly a game, but I guess you can use it. And it's going to, if everything works correctly, going to create labyrinths, mazes automatically. And it's going to start searching for a path using this library, easystart.js. So in this case, you don't really see it because it's kind of like cutting the corners. I was a little bit lazy, but it always starts in this upper left corner and tries to go all the way to the right corner, lower right corner, and then it creates immediately another random maze, and it tries to solve it. So it keeps doing that over and over until it gets, well, until you get tired. But I always found it a little bit, I don't know, like a little meditation stay, open flow kind of thing, just looking at the little program finding its own way. That's it. And then the last one that I'm going to show you, unless anyone wants to comment on anything, is this one with three.js. I had another one with Phaser, but is another library that you have here. But unlike the Phaser or Constructor, this one is focused on 3D with JavaScript. So this would be a little bit similar to what you would see using Unity. So pretty much the same thing. I have just to make certain that I bring the right libraries. So in this case would be this distribution of three.js. and a couple words that I think they came already with the controls, and we're going to see what it is. So this one, if I had modified it correctly, well, for once would be it detects right now the collision with the trees, but it's not really detecting much my interaction with the screen. So really, well, it is doing it, but it's not doing it correctly. I shouldn't have done that. Zooming in and out. That's not what I want. Really, what I'm controlling it here is with my keyboard, which is not the greatest thing because I should really think about like touch controls. But well, you guys can see the idea. And the only thing is that it has is a couple of models, 3D models that include the trees and the sphere and all that, and it's able to control that without much of a problem. So to get this one ready, the part that I should include is to be able to detect like taps on the left side and right side of the screen to be able to move the ball, and perhaps in the center or a double tap or something to be able to make it jump. But in this case, I'm doing that is with the up arrow in the keyboard. So it's kind of like halfway. But well, really what I wanted to do with this demo was more to be able to see how a 3D graphic would appear in such a small screen. But that's it. So I'm going to pause there for a second if you guys have any questions. And if not, I have one last thing to show you, and then I'll leave it open for any questions that you want to have. Nope. Okay. So then last thing that I'm going to show you with the emulator. Um, so since the emulator is trying to do pretty much everything that you could do with a real device, then one thing that you can do is that regardless if you're in Tizen Studio or Visual Studio, the emulator has this part that is a control panel. Should load. And then here you're going to be able to control the input that you're emulating on your emulator. And there's so for example, well, you can change the battery and all that location if you're using for something like GPS. And then something like the heart rate that directly you can say how many beats per minute you're detecting. In this case, the guy's about to have a heart attack. It's quite high. And then depending on the application that you're running here, you should be able to detect that. So I don't have any open here. I could create one really quick to do that. The one that you are interested in specifically, Kylie, that is the gyrometer. That's something that you should be able to do directly with a watch. So I think I heard that you got that you received a watch or something like that.
Yes, I have one.
Okay, so then the part that you would be able to do, I think, I'm going to look directly into the page, is Tizen.org and then sensors. Well, this is the needed device sensors. Click here. So since Tizen is an open source operating system, then we have like it has its own organization and website completely separate from Samsung, although Samsung is pretty much the one maintaining the entire operating system. And one of the things that I wanted to show you is directly the sensors. And here you can see that you have the gyroscope and the rotation sensor vector. So here, if you go, which I guess I can put that all that in your application. It's well, in this case, it's showing it almost like if you're having an application on a mobile device, but it's the same thing for your watch. And then it's showing you how to do it. I think in this case, which one is this one? For .NET. Okay, perfect. So you already have like the different sections. You see .NET application, web application, native application. So the one that I already found was by accident. It's not the one. It's already telling you how to use the sensors directly on .NET. So you can already start copy pasting. And we should have another section, if I'm not mistaken, here in samples. To open a new we have that one. Perhaps here, watch. So we already have several samples that help you with that. So I don't know if we have one already for the accelerometer. But if not, well, I can look for it. Let me see here. We always have similar samples between Tyson.net. So since this is the one that I have open, I'm going to see if I have it here. If not, I can look for one, and well, you have already the documentation here. So sensor, heart rate monitor. Okay, this is the one, sensor ball, like a small game. And I'm going to create it, but you're going to see that it doesn't do much. This one is kind of like its own version on JavaScript, so it's not the one that you should be able to see on .NET, but it gives you an idea. And this one's sensible. And this pretty much what it does. Let me do it correctly. To launch it. There. So you see that like this little ball is kind of like falling here. So this is what you would be ready to put there and make it move on your device. So the moment that you move it, this little ball that was over here, this is what is going to detect the acceleration or like the movement, whatever it is. So you would be able to move it all around. So we already have a sample that detects that. Obviously, in this case, what you would like to do is not just to show like a little ball. It would be sending that information to the Android device, and then that game showing, well, moving the different elements that you already have there. So pretty much, I have to send you almost all the tabs that I have open here. So a little bit of a lot of information, but then you can take everything that you need from each one of them, and then should be able to kind of put it all together. And then let me see what else can share with you, something that would be useful. You have a project here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I think that's kind of like most of the you guys already saw the demos, a lot of the information of where to find it, which again I can send you the links. And I think well, Kylie, I already have your email, and Rachid, if you can send this perhaps on chat or send me directly. Let me see. Okay. Right now I'm listening. I could introduce. I'm a beginner though. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I can see it. So thank you. So I'm going to send here to everyone directly my email. So if you guys have any more questions after the the live chat, well, you can send me an email. We can talk, well, specifically with you, Kyle. It seems that we can spend some time together, like trying to figure out how to make yours work. But Rashid, if you are interested in getting a little bit more of an intro on how to do things with gaming in general, and then specifically for wearable devices or for the Galaxy Store, then I would be willing to do so. Rachid, if you send me your email, then I can send you all the links that I'm going to share with Kylie too, so you don't miss anything. And then, well, you can tell me a little bit in the email, like what kind of experience do you have? If you have zero experience, if you have created any games in the past, or what kind of games do you like, you're interested in creating, and then I can start helping you and sending you to the right parts in our documentation to well, to start creating your own games. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Okay. So, any other questions? Anything else that I can help you with? Anything that you are interested in talking about?
I
Well,
have a question about
sure.
3D games.
Yes.
Can the watch, like, is it good at handling 3D games? Like, do you have to do only low poly models, or can it handle more than that? Or is it more suited for 2D games?
Well, that's why I wanted on purpose the last demo well, the second to last demo, the one with the three.js, because
Yeah.
yes, you can. The problem is a little bit more on in terms of the size of the application of the game itself. You don't have a gigantic storage like you have in your watch and in your phone. So then you would have to make certain that that it doesn't exceed a certain size. And obviously, the more models, 3D models that you add, then quite likely it's going to be a little bit more clogged. So how I understood when Tony gave me a little bit the general intro of your game, uh, I think it would be easier for you to try to have like the full blown 3D images on your phone, and then almost like a toned down version of just like the UX or the UI on your watch. So then that way the watch doesn't have to display all the 3D models. But if you want to, yes, you can, and that's why I was trying to show you that one. Just that you're not going to have something like, I don't know, like Call of Duty on the watch. That would be completely above the capacity of the watch at the moment.
That'd be a bit much to play on the watch too, 'cause it's so
Yes.
tiny a screen.
Yes, correct. But I think even how I imagine it, and obviously it's your game, so you can correct me. Um, I wouldn't even put like a lot of display here. It could be just like even a 2D image, which you could easily do, and that's what I was trying to show on the latest on the little ball that I can only show here, that demo, this one. So something really simple, perhaps like a delicate 2D images, because most of the time, if you have already an interaction with your phone, quite likely you are going to be using your watch just to move, but you're not going to be looking at that screen. You're just going to be using it to detect the movement of your wrist, of your arm. So then the real images are going to be on your phone. So like then the only latency or the only thing that you would have to worry about is how close your watch, so your two devices are, so your watch and your phone, uh, because obviously you're going to be sending information back and forward to be able to control your game. But then the problem there is not going to be the 3D images; it's going to be more like the communication between the two games.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, that's how I envision it. Obviously, it's not my game. You may need 3D images on the watch. It's just that since most of what you are looking for is use the gyroscope, then I don't think you really need to have the 3D images on the watch. But you can. Just that don't go crazy. Don't try to put a full blown um, GTA or I don't know. Uh, Fortnite on your watch, because yeah, that's not going to be possible.
Keep it small and simple.
Yep, that's always a good policy and philosophy for most games. So yeah, that's it. Apart from that, I was just going to ask you, have you published any game in any store, in any app store or online or something like that?
I haven't. I wasn't sure if I could because I'm using student versions of all the programs, so I wasn't sure if that meant that they could only be used for nonprofit reasons.
As far as I remember, the last time that I checked Unity, what it for personal use and even for commercial use, you have like a threshold. So you can use like you can create games and publish them and make money out of them up to the moment that you hit a certain money. That, if I'm not mistaken, is something like $50,000 or something on those lines. So quite likely, if at some point you hit $50,000, quite likely you can pay already the pro versions of Unity. Uh,
Okay.
so you can go and check. I don't remember exactly, so don't quote me on the amount, but I do remember that that's one of the things that he had. You could get like your personal license, make it work for the games that you want, and then if at some point one of your games supposedly passes that threshold, then you have to start getting a professional. license. But like I said, at that point, you shouldn't be worrying about that. At that moment, you are pretty much a professional game developer. You're making a decent amount of money with that. So pay for it, and then you can have it for many more games that you can create. And on the Galaxy Store, then you always have the option to publish a game for free, and then you don't have any problems. That's something that so there are like two steps pretty much that you have to do on the Galaxy Store. So let me go back here. Galaxy Store. This. So then you can get started here, Galaxy Store, and then you are going to immediately be able to publish free applications. So you don't have any problem. If you're going to sell something that you're going to be receiving money, that it could be with the in-app purchase or directly selling the application or something like that, then you have to kind of like also register on the seller's office, because then you're not just giving something for free. And really, the main issue there, it has to do with taxes. If you are getting money, somehow the states usually try to say like, okay, you have to give us a piece of that. Um, and at that point, the Galaxy Store is going to take 30% of whatever you make. So if you make $1, we're going to get 30 cents. If you're going to get $1 million, well, we're going to get a 30% of that. So, but then we are not really going to really check the license. Is going to be more like Unity or whatever software that you're using to create that. So I would recommend you to go to Unity and check it. And usually they have like the pricing somewhere, and quite likely as a student, you should be able to do it without a problem.
Okay.
And apart from that, like, where's your background? What kind of things are you studying? Something on design or something more on programming, or I don't know.
Well, I'm in school for game design, so we didn't do too many programming, but the couple classes we did do, I picked I picked it up pretty well and I enjoy it. So I want to like learn more about programming, but other than that, um, I'm also trying to do more like level design and
Okay.
some 3D modeling, but more level design and
Okay.
like making a whole game.
Okay. So a few years ago, well, for once, I was at some point professional game designer, and I have helped many students before to try to start with that. Personal recommendation that I have for you is to work on your portfolio, and specifically with games. Your portfolio is not just something that you show the images or the designs or something like that. Something like putting a game on a store that could be any store, but specifically, obviously, I'm pointing you to the Galaxy Store because it's Samsung, and I do believe that is great. But even if you create something that you can put on Steam, or you can put on something like itch.io or something like that, that people can literally get their hands on and start playing with, for this career, for the thing that you're doing, I think it's really important, because then you are not just talking about something that you did or something that you are interested in doing. You are already showing people what you already have done, and then they can get their hands on that, and well, give you criticism, sometimes good, sometimes not so great, which is something that you can expect. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend to create something. It could be something small. I actually think that it's better to start like that, like a small application, a small game, and then keep building on top of that. You can keep creating your dream game later, or build on like small pieces of brick until you get that gigantic game that everyone is going to love. So, but you can already have the experience on how to do it, and you can brag with your friends. You download my game on your phone and you can play it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't know exactly where the conversation was going to go, so that's why I had those demos ready to answer questions. So, like you said, Rashid, if you send me an email with well, at least saying like, hey, hi, so I can have your email and I can send you the links, I'll do that. And then quite likely, Kylie, by tomorrow, at some point during the day, I'm going to get links, all these links there in one place and send them to you. And then you're going to have my email to ask me any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, I got yours, Richard. So copying that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for coming. We're going to try to be doing these live chats at least like once a month. The one today, it was more focused on gaming, but if you just want to come and listen to other people because they have applications of all kinds, not just games, well, you are invited to do so. And yeah, just let me know what you guys like. You already have my contact. And out of all these things, the only important link that I think you always should get is this one right here, developer.samsung.com. So if you have any questions there, quite likely you're going to get a lot more information there. And if not, well, you have at least a starting point on, oh, that's awful. A starting point on where to look for the information that you're looking for. And yeah, that's pretty much it for from me today.